Hello, everyone. We're here to talk about unOrdinary. I'm already fumbling my words. Here to talk about unOrdinary again. It's not even been a week since I recorded the first video on it, and the first video is not even out as we're recording this. It is currently the 8th of April, 11 p.m. UK time. So, as far as I'm aware, I'm caught up. 3:37 was the most recent episode, as of me recording this. So if anything comes out in between that's going up, don't expect me to comment on it, okay? Now, in my first video, there are going to be things that were wrong. If you've seen it, you know. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Season 2 as a whole, everything so far, because it's not ended yet, but I've just caught up to it, and I want to talk about it. Because, oh boy, there's some really good stuff. First of all, if you have not read unOrdinary, why you're watching this video is a bit weird. There's a video on Season 2, so you should probably go read it first, because it's going to be very spoiler heavy. I'm going to assume you've seen my first video, which will be linked in the card, top right, for you to go check out. So you can familiarize yourself with what I said about the first part. But Season 2, incredible. Incredible, bro. It's fantastic. John having to establish himself within the safe house and grow as a character. The way John grows as a character in Season 2 is just incredibly well done. And I'm immediately going to jump to one thing that happens about halfway through Season 2. And it's when John loses his ability, the way Seraphina did, to Spectre. I initially thought this was a bad idea from a storytelling perspective, because the way I expected John's development to go was him to have to grow with his ability, have to be confident using it, learn to use it properly, and not let anger take over, because, you know, he'd only ever really used the ability while angry. But instead, I mean, he kind of gets there. He starts going there. He starts to learn control. And, you know, he does have that little bit of that development, but then he loses his ability. And initially I was like, that ain't great, because how's he going to grow to learn to use his ability properly if he can't use it? Well, I was a bit short-sighted, because him losing his ability actually forces him, well, not forces him, but makes him realize how much he values his ability. Now that he's genuinely powerless and not pretending to be like he was before, he knows how much he needs his ability, how much of a part of himself it is. And by the end of this, well, by where we are now, he's fully embraced it, partly due to his rage, as what happens. Poor William, bro. Poor William. And Jane, I suppose. Both his parents have got it rough. So is he. Jesus, John's got it really rough. To be fair, most people have it rough this season. Most people have had it rough the whole time, but oh boy. Some people have got it real rough. But, yeah. I was short-sighted on how John's character was going to develop, and him losing his ability I actually think was a very, very clever means of doing it. I was against it initially, but as it got on and it went through it, oh, all right, this makes sense. Yeah, all right, fair. I respect it, and it really grew on me. I thought it was a really interesting spin on John's development, and also how he, integrates himself with the safe house. Remy, Blake, and Isen. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Him and Remy were like this close to being on the same wavelength. This close. And now at the end, they're finally there. Oh, it's so good, bro. It's so good. I was waiting. I was drooling at the mouth for it to happen. And when it did, I was like, so good. When they share that text bubble. Oh my god, it's so good. It was so good, bro. But I've gotten way ahead of myself. A lot more happens before then. Well, a lot happens in general. I also really want to talk about Vaughn, the headmaster, because I had my suspicions about him, that he was on side, if you will, for our main characters, anti-authority, anti the current system stance, and he is. He absolutely is. Although his reasoning for it was not quite what we'd expect. He used to be the thing that Kuon is, the guy that Kuon. No, it's Kaon, not Kuon. That's a fucking Undernight character. Kaon, who's the one that broke John. Also, it's brilliant that John finally confides in people about what happened to him in those re-education classes. Oh, that was so... Seeing him do that was such a brilliant... Not even just with his dad, but with Arlo of all people as well. Such a brilliant brilliant moment of development. So good. For someone that he, hated and despised, and feeling was mutual at the beginning, to have him confide in now they're like that. It's great. It was really good to see. Fantastic. Where was I? Vaughn, yes. So him previously being a disciplinary officer and hating the way it was, wanting it changed, but being ignored at every turn, very like the authorities, especially within the world of unOrdinary. It's just brilliant. He wants to make change to the system, and he's not allowed to. He's denied it. So what way to do it? Get into education. Be involved in the education system. Raise and kind of gently guide a generation into opposing the current rule, as it were. And that's kind of what Ray was aiming for, although he was alone, unlike the Safe House, who are united. And that has led to bounds and bounds of change, with the assistance of John, creating the chaos in which birthed the idea for the Safe House within the higher tiers. Well, Remy, Black, and Eason specifically. And Serafina as well. Brilliant stuff. Really, really good. But one thing I really want to comment on about Vaughn, I believe I'm correct in this, but he's got a very Rousseauian outlook on the world. I believe it's Rousseau. Again, we're here on the kind of political type thing, which you can't deny that there is a certain aspect of it running through, but that's just because a big part of the plot is the authorities and not trusting them, and them being bad, and them orchestrating things, exert control upon people. Not brilliant, and also it can obviously be compared to reality, but Vaughn has a very Rousseauian outlook. Nobody's born with ill intent. Nobody's born evil. It's a society that causes them to act in certain ways and act out and be violent, be evil per se. The outlook he has, he even says it directly. It's society that pushes him to this. Nobody's born like that. I've twisted the word slightly just because I can't remember off the top of my head, even though I literally just read the chapter. Whatever. He's got a very Rousseauian outlook, and I'm wondering how far that goes, and whether it'll have an impact on the story. Because I wonder if it's a case of, they weren't born evil, it was society that pushed them, therefore they're innocent. I'm wondering if that's his outlook. Because if so, it'll be a bit disappointing. Because they still need to be punished for the actions they commit, even if it was society that goaded them into it. It kind of has to be how it is. If you act out excessively, that's the way the world works. Even if you're acting out against such a world, actions have consequences, and that's one thing has been highlighted decently throughout unOrdinary. Although this is that part of me talking that I should probably quiet the fuck down. We're here to review a webtoon, not talk reality. But that's an aspect I'd like to see exemplified further. Even though you could argue we've still seen it in quite a good regard. But enough about that. If I talk about Vaughn too much, we're going to go down a rabbit hole I don't want to be in. But yes, really good. So let's go to the beginning. The school trip. The Safe House trip. Basically one of the first major event of Season 2. Where John loses his ability, Serafina does that operation for Spectre that goes awry, and that's when things start to really spiral for this season. With it's finding out more about how fractured Spectre is, with the guy that's basically the outlier within Spectre, Orin, being the one that has the most power, and bloody hell is his ability fucking crazy. His ability is so strong. I wonder if John's gonna be able to turn that against him now that he's got his power boost at the end of the season, huh? Oh, that could be fun. that could be real fun. I want John to burn everything to the ground. It'll be so cool. It'll be so fun to see. Whether he will or not, I actually don't think he will. I think he's going to grow past that, and he'll exert punishment against the individuals that have caused the problems, not the framework that they have forced upon other people. I think that's the way this will end up going, with it'll be destroying problem, it would be destroying the individuals that have caused the problem and have sown the chaos and mistrust and the evil in the world, as opposed to just upending the entire system and having to rebuild everything from the ground up. That's just a small speculation, but we'll see when we eventually get to the end. I imagine Unordinary is going to be a very, very long series, given it seems like we've got so much to cover, and we're only, we're 300 episodes in, and we're just at the end of season 2, and there's so much to go, it seems. Oh, but it's really good. Read it. I'm going to keep preaching to the choir, but read it. God damn it. Read it. Also, if you, probably, I don't know how far through the video you are, but if you made it this far, hit the sub button, if you like, notification bell, YouTube stuff. Let me know your thoughts on the webtoon as well. Let me know if you think I'm spouting too much bullshit. I should get on actually telling you what I think was good about the webtoon. I mean, I have. Leave me alone. Also, one thing I love is, it's specifically John's relationships with people. He's no longer entirely dependent on Seraphina for emotional support, and his dad, obviously, as well. Those that know versus those that don't know. Right, he's now closer with Remy and co, the vigilante triage, as they are. And, oh, what's brilliant as well is how their escapades have developed in trying to thwart Ember and the authorities who back them. Oh, it's been so good. It's been so good, bro. Kuyo being introduced. This guy that was an annoying piece of shit who beat down on Ray a little bit, but is now, but ended up being really close friends with him at the end of it and fought alongside him until that tragic day when Ray died. Oh, his involvement is really interesting. I'm really glad that he got away when he did. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're able to do with the information he has gathered. I mean, we've already seen some of it with the seeds being sown with Cassandra. She's really great as well. Everybody loves Cassandra. You're weird if you don't. I'm sorry. I have high hopes for things she's going to do within the story. Genuinely, I think she's going to do some crazy stuff. She's going to be integral because she's in a decently high position. She's higher than Arlo is. God, my hair's annoying. She's higher in the authorities than Arlo is. Arlo is like a little rat, and he's done his job. He's done work. That's great stuff. Arlo's cooked. Arlo's gone from Aslo to Arlo to Brolo, back to Arlo, and now he's finally about to achieve a new genesis, evolve further. He's in a what's this thing called? A chrysalis? I'm spouting words. He's about to metamorphise. He's going to become Bestlo. I don't know. I'm absolutely just babbling on. But the thing I think I like most about Unordinary is the subtext within it. I love that. It's just really good stuff. The subject matter is fantastic. The characters are great. The characters are all really, really pretty too. Like, look at it, bro. That looks so good. Like, oh my god, it looks so good. Read it. And take in the beauty of the art. It's a very nice art style. It's very pleasing to the eyes. And yet, despite being very, I want to say laid back, it still doesn't take away and be a detriment to action scenes either. Like, the action sequences still have good choreography, still have weight to them, despite this softer art style, I guess. But I feel like that's not really I'm probably struggling with the words to describe it, but I really love how everything from the art style to story structure to all of that done. It's really good stuff. Uru-chan is fantastic. Honestly, really, really good stuff. It is brilliant. I love it. Read it. I probably definitely have more that I'd probably say, but hello, it is me. I am recording this literally a handful of moments after everything you just heard. A couple of things I forgot to mention that I'm going to just add in now as a weird addendum type thing. So, John getting his powers back. I really like the way it was done. So, first, obviously, they get the little treatment from Spectre, where Orin fucks them over and gives them back at 50%, which means they don't get their ability really back. Also, it's limited, first of all, for, them only having it back for a week, like in Seraphina's case. OBS might have just done something weird there. Well, I don't really care. Like with Seraphina's case, where she only got her ability back for a week. But in John's case, and also they only got back 50% as well. In John's case, he gets his ability back at half, which still makes him stupid strong. But the interesting thing here is, with John not losing his ability, or getting weaker over that week, and then his aura channels closing back up, I think that's because of his, as it's been said, John must have an exorbitant amount more aura than the average high tier, probably due to his mother being, so far the strongest person we've seen with an ability power of level of 9.1, which is ludicrously high. Seraphina's an 8, and she's stupid strong. Imagine a 9.1, right? And so his mother and him, obviously, and his uncle, having very aura-focused abilities, it's probably a case that because he has such a good understanding of aura and such a vast amount of aura within his channels, that as soon as they open back up, even though it was supposed to be temporary, as soon as they open back up, the flood of aura kept the channels open when they should have been closing back up. So I really like that. And when obviously John gets his power boost after he's given the drug by Doc, which fully reopens his channels and fully reopens Seraphina's and gives her ability back permanently, he gets stronger. It's almost as if his channels are fully open, right? Before they were open, right? He could access all of it, he could tap into aura all around his body and manipulate how he wanted to. But now you've seen him like project it out, like when he punched that bag toward the end of what we've got so far. It looked like he sent out a pulse of aura. It's almost as if he's got a right. I'm imagining that he might be able to take people's abilities and then completely change them. So take, for example, he took Remy's ability, lightning. He might be able to change the affinity and the properties of her lightning and do something else with it instead of just being lightning. I think we've seen him almost combine abilities to an extent before. So if he could do something like that, that'd be kind of crazy, but to a greater extent if I'm remembering correctly. But if I'm not, and he hasn't done that, that'd be sick. That's one thing. Also, again, his mother as well. It's obvious that John would have a resistance to that because, well, he got such an intense connection to aura, and what I really like is that whenever he tapped into his ability and it activated without him knowing why, was because he was angry. It makes so much sense because his ability, he'd only ever really used it while angry. And so when he felt such that intense emotion, which he'd always associated with his ability, it like awoke it within him because his ability is very feeling oriented. It's to do with auras, which are feeling, right? At least that's how I imagine it. But when he got angry, the muscle memory just kind of brought the ability out and started to wake it up within him. So obviously that I think was handled really, really well. It was fantastically done. Loved it. And one other thing I want to talk about, the book unOrdinary, or Untitled, within the world. The way John phrased it was when John said it as he did that it really stuck in my head with this. You can't cut certain parts because they're really important for the trials and tribulations the main character goes through that make him who he is by the end, and how he makes the world a better place. It's almost like what's happening with John. He was awful. He was terrible. He was a fucked up kid. He did terrible shit. And everything he's gone through, all the horrible things that have happened to him, are all incredibly important to him becoming a better person, becoming stronger as a person, to potentially and hopefully make the world a better place. Yeah, it's not very subtle. It's really in your face, but it's still very cleverly done. You can't deny. It's well done. It's good tying in of the story beats. You know, it's very good stuff. Very, very good stuff. William would be proud. Rest in peace, brother. Anyway, right, I just wanted to add this in at the end. I'll cut to previous me now. Like and subscribe. My brain bubbling, as you can probably tell. I've said what I really wanted to say, at least in some vague manner. Also, John getting Blake's phone number. A great moment. Really small scene, but just hit good. It hit good. But yeah, if you like the video, like I said about 4 minutes ago, like, comment, sub, notification bell, you know, the YouTube stuff, share the video around and all that. And with that out of the way, I've been Animosity, and I hope to catch you all next time for another video. For now.